Hey family, welcome to How Love Works, where we talk about the principles for lasting love. As I told you, I'm back. Hey, uh, I've got a pretty stacked review. I'm going to be doing Married at First Sight. I hadn't been watching the show for a little while. I know it's been going on for the last 10 seasons, and so I remember one of the subscribers that has been part of our community, and the name is called, her name or his name, I think it's a he, I think it's a she, is Fan. And so I want to give you a shout out, let you know that I told you I was going to go ahead and do this. And I don't have, any real like in-depth information, but what I do have, I am certainly willing to go ahead on and give my perspective on it. I guess I have a few reservations only because this is the beginning, if you will, of this program. So right now, what they're doing is they're matching people, and when I first started listening to the show comments about Marriage at First Sight, the first thing that kind of popped up in my mind was that, we have like, what, 7 billion people in the world, and out of 7 billion people, almost maybe a billion or maybe 2 billion still practice arranged marriages. And the difference between the modern American style version of arranged marriages and the other world, or I guess you might say a more traditional version of it, even though they do or they have inculcated a lot of the technology, and they have made a few tweaks along the way rather than being so dogmatic where the parents make all the decisions. It has been a little more equity has been employed in making the choices, and I have to admit that I think that has gone a long way in helping to make sure that arranged marriages, at least outside of America, have such a very low divorce rate. I think the divorce rate in India is like 2%. Now I recognize that's tied to culture. Even though in America our divorce rate is a little bit over 50%. What also is ironic is when I was looking at the program, I noticed that they said that they had I think it was 34 couples. Over 34 couples were connected with the show, and out of the 34 couples, 8 couples are still together. Now, when I did the math, it was just a little bit above 20% that were still married. So that meant it was an 80% or almost over 75% divorce rate. So that American version, Americans don't know how to love. I'm sorry. Americans don't know anything about connection. Americans have what I would think they have a childlike, very narcissistic and self-centered version of marriage. It's almost like a Hollywood version of marriage, that I can still be single and married at the same time. It's like they have no earthly idea what marriage is about, what partnership is about, what connection is all about. They're just clueless. And you can blame it on culture, you can blame it on black people, you can blame it on the women's movement, you can blame it and point your finger on anybody. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. 75% plus divorce rate? And these people are supposed to be the experts. You have a sexologist, you have a sociologist, and you have a pastor. And they still can't get these people maxed up correctly so that we don't see such a drastic a drastic outcome with these people when they get married. Let me take 5. I got to get my coffee break here. Got to do my thing, you know. Had to get a little 5-minute coffee break. All right. I digress. Let me go over these 5 couples. Okay, what you have is on the guy's side you have Brandon, Michael, Austin, Derek, and Zach. And then on the female side you have Mindy, Taylor, Mika, Jessica, and Katie. Okay, I'm going to go through these guys rather quickly because, as I said, this is just the period of time where they were matching everyone up. What I'm going to do is I'll tell you who the matches are. You have Zach and Mindy. You have Derek and Katie, Austin and Jessica, Michael and Mika, and Brandon and Taylor. Now, I'm going to go through these guys first and give you guys my take on what I think the future may lie for some of these guys. Now, when I listened to Brandon and the questions they were asking him about his wants, what he doesn't want, what his deal breakers were, I think the thing that stuck out mostly to me was when they asked him about his not his sexual preference, but how open he was about how he wanted, or how he didn't care, or how he considered sex, or how he had any problem, if he had any issues with sex. What was his preference? I guess I didn't want to use the word, that's why I went all over the place with it, but preference. But what stuck out to me was that he had a relationship with a dominatrix. He had a relationship with a dominatrix. Now, that meant that he had to play the submissive. Now, I'm not saying that I know there's guys bigger than me. There's guys, more money than me, more powerful than I am, that like to do the same thing. That's beside the point. My thing is that here's a guy who wants to get married. And I'm not going to say one way or the other if it's a bad thing for him to be a submissive. But I am saying that there's like a spectrum on a personality measurement on agreeableness. And when you think about a guy who has been in a position where he likes women to dominate him, I know this is just sexually, but we're sexual beings, and it just doesn't stay in the bedroom. It kind of overflows in other areas, and we're gonna see this played out. I don't know if that's gonna be the case, because I think he was matched up. Brandon was matched up with Taylor, and so we're gonna find out as this thing unfolds going forward. But I don't know if they're gonna be able to remain as a couple, because the shows that I have watched, I have to say, the black couples, I don't know if there's one out of the 8. No, I am wrong. There is one. There is just one. All of the rest of the couples, all 34, only one black couple. At least we got one. So I'm just a little shocked about that, but I guess I'm not surprised. But anyway, that really got me. But all his influences was his mother. He grew up with his mother and his grandmother and his aunt. His mother and father separated when he was 13, and he didn't have any relationship with his father. Okay, my hope is that the brother is not overly feminized, but I don't know this, and I'm not ready to throw the brother under the bus. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to see how he relates to her. If he relates to her from the the pattern of a submissive, then I'm going to be like, oh, this is not going to work unless she likes to be dominant. All right. The next guy is Michael. Michael is probably, out of all 10 people, Michael is probably the only one that seems to have a whole life. Okay, this is a guy who was raised by his aunt, who was his mother, and his cousin, who became his sister because his mother died of cancer when he was 3. And this guy, he started a program for kids with disabilities and special needs because he was diagnosed with dyslexia when he was younger, a reading issue, which one of my own grandchildren is suffering from that. So, this guy is near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to just let you know right off the top. But what I like about this guy is that he has at least the basic intangibles when it comes to a man. Here's a guy, he has vision, he has virtue, and he has values. He is stable. He has other interests. Like I said, he has a whole life that's outside of his job. I mean, he likes plays. He likes Shakespeare. He's a yoga instructor. He's passionate about what he's doing. That guy, I think, he's a builder. He wants to be a principal someday. He really, really appreciates marriage. He honors marriage. He wants to be the first person in his family to marry. No one in his family has married. No one. And he's proud of the fact that he wants to be the first. I got to honor that brother. So he's the one that I'm really, really holding out for. And I pray that the person, they gave him Mika. Mika's, she's one of them strong alpha females. And I don't know how that's going to roll. But one thing I got to say about my brother is that he's not a lay down type of guy. He's not just going to lay down. All right. All right. Now, he is quite of he kind of goes by, he marches by his own beat, and I see him as a leader. So I hope that situation with Mika works out for him. I'm going to say that Austin is, they call him the mama's boy. Austin is a guy, he doesn't really know, he claims, why he's had a difficult time with women. I personally think this because he's kind of immature. I'm not saying he's a bad guy because I don't see that in him. But like I said about all these guys, I don't know until we get into the second and third episode, and then we'll get a little bit broader view of what these guys are like. And now, but one thing I did get from this guy, he is searching for a wife. I think he's sincere about that. And I think they matched him up with Jessica. I think that's going to be a good match. Then you have Derek. He claims that he's never been in love. Now that's by his definition of love. Love today is either romanticized version of love or sex. It's almost like this is Americans' version of love. Okay, I'm at a McDonald's. I see a Big Mac, and I say, "Oh, I love Big Macs." Now, do I love Big Macs, or do I love the way Big Macs make me feel? So love really comes down to how something or the object makes me feel. That's not love. Not at all. So at the end of the day, that's the way people view love. All right, now we're going to look at Zach. Zach's the last guy. Zach is he's a fitness guy. Started his own company. He's got these Hollywood looks. I think that he has had the opportunity. He's been with a lot of very, very attractive women. He claims he doesn't want to deal with those kinds of women anymore. He said many of them were not intelligent, but he says he has become more and more picky, and he wants a woman that he wants to settle down with. I don't know. I'm thinking he might be another. I think he may be another Mario as far as I'm concerned. But I might be wrong. We'll see. Only time will tell, right? Now let's get through with the girls. We got Taylor. Taylor is a beautiful black woman, very intelligent, very attractive. She's a scientist going for a PhD. And as I said, Taylor is hooked up. She's going to be connected, or she's going to be married to Brandon. The biggest issue that I see there is what the doctor, sociologist says, is that she has a lot of education, and so like most women believe is that because if a woman has a lot of education, or she has a lot, or she's very self-sufficient, and she's an alpha female type, that men are somehow intimidated by that. I'm here to tell you, ladies, men are never intimidated by things like that unless they're super, super, super insecure. Typically, women read the fact that men get irritated when women make the issue that they are self-sufficient. They're constantly reminding the man that they can do things. They don't need them, or they imply it. They don't directly say it. And that irritates a man. And so it's not an intimidation. It's just the fact that the attitude that comes as a result of a person or a female has the means to be able to provide for herself. But she needs to look beyond that. There are certain things that money can't buy. And there are certain things that only a man can do for you that money can't do. And so you need to look at it from that perspective. Doesn't matter what that brother might be earning. You have to learn how to appreciate, what this other brother can contribute to your life. All right. That was the only issue I see there they may have. Katie, on the other hand, Katie's a little young girl. I think she's connected to Derek. Katie has this little boyfriend that found out that she was going to be on the show. He dipped off on her. Then all of a sudden he finds out she's going to get married on the show. He tries to come back, but just like a typical 25-year-old, she thinks, she's a little confused about what she ought to do. But, obviously she stayed on the show. But just to even hear about it to me was kind of irritating, because it's kind of it doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't even brought the thing up. The guy already told you what he was about. He's not willing to commit. If you don't get a ring of it, I don't care if a guy comes to you and say, I want to marry you and all this other stuff. If you don't have a ring and a date, you're not getting married. I'm just going to keep it real. If you don't get a ring and a date, the brother not serious. He just gives you a ring and introducing you to everybody and telling you his girl, and you his fiance, and you've been his fiance for 10 years. You the fool. Because you didn't give up. If you take a man's ring, you better give a date. A ring and a date. Period. Or you single. All right. And Jessica is the ice skater, and Jessica is no. Jessica's not. She's the keeper. I'm sorry. She's the twin, and she's a nurse, a registered nurse. Sweet girl. A nurturing type of woman. Kind of woman I got. Kind of nurturer and sweet, and a little. No, I can't say that. My wife's a nurturer. She's strong, and I like that. She's very, very caring and very conscientious. Ooh, the girl's conscientious. I got off. Let me stay with Jessica. Got to talking about my own girl. All right. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about her. And then let me say what I got to say about Mika, and I think that's it for the women. Mika is it, and I'm done. Mika, I'm going to tell you, she said herself out of her own mouth that she likes to control things. Now, she's going to be going with my boy Michael. I don't know how that's going to roll. I can't wait to see the next episode after they get married. At least 2 episodes in. Now, she said that she used to raise her brothers and sisters, the 3 kids, while her mom worked 2 jobs. So she's used to calling shots. She wants to be a shot caller. She wants to be a boss. And to be honest with you, I don't really have a beef with that. Really, cool. As a man, I think every man wants to win. Every man wants to get the highest quality woman he can get, the most conscientious woman he can get. Boom. No issue with that. No brother has a problem with that. But just like I asked my wife, and you're gonna get the answer because I'm gonna tell you. I think it begs the question: if you got a woman that's that driven, she wants to be a boss, she wants to she's super ambitious, she's doing all that, but she also claims she wants to be a wife and a mother. Then here's the question I have for you. The question is, are you going to be a career woman or a woman with a career? I think you need to make up your mind. If you're going to be a woman with a career, that's what my wife is. She's a woman with a career. Our marriage is the priority. So her skills, my skills, we combined them together, make one man, and we built our marriage with it. And so no job is going to take my place. No career is going to take my place. No one's ego, her ego or mine, is going to take the place of the marriage that we built. And that's what she's going to have to figure out. And we're going to have to see that. Now, my hope is that when we see the rest of the show as it goes forward, that some of my fears are unwarranted. I hope they don't. I hope they turn out. So I pray that Mika doesn't fool me. I pray that she can do what we said in our last video, where she will compromise for what she wants, but she will negotiate for what she needs. At least I hope she learns that from these experts. I'm not sure. But that's my time. I thank you for yours. I catch you on the other side. God bless you.